Welcome back, everyone. Well, today I'm excited about finally getting around to the last bit that needs to be done to close up the house, get the garage doors in. So the siding is finally done. Hallelujah. It's been done for about a week, but right, Misty? Did you help? Did you help? Yeah? Are you happy about the doors? You won't be able to get in anymore. So I've got three. These are Haas brand. They are 10x10 Carriage Style. You'll see them. They're a walnut brown, I believe, with top row of glass. Right, Misty? Yeah. So I'm going to get these installed. I'm going to start on this side. I got the lift in here. These are 10-foot doors, but they've got a 4-foot extension, so the door will basically go up to the ceiling. It will go just about up. That's 15 feet. So it's going to go up 4 feet, and then the torsion springs has room for the springs. So I've got the lift, which will make this much easier. I'm going to go around. I'm going to go get the doors, bring them around, because I've had them in the shop for a while. So let's go get them. All right, here are our 10x10 doors, carriage house style. There's the risers to get it up to the ceiling, and there's the springs, hardware, track, and there is also angle iron on that side. So I got to get this unloaded. It's always a fun place to try to find a place to fit it. Alright, so here's the doors I've been storing. I've had them for, I don't know, probably 3 weeks. They came in a little bit earlier than they were supposed to, and I was tempted to put them in, but I didn't. I refrained. So I've got to get the general out of the way, bring the tractor around with the forks, bring this around to the house. Might as well get a little video general action. Cold startup. It was 36 degrees this morning. In here it's probably 40, but these don't like to start when it's cold. It's almost done. Almost. Take it for a ride after. Taking a 6x6. That was my stop for the general. Usually goes right there, so I know where to go, so we don't drive into the back of the Mustang. prefer to do it with the skid steer, but it's up in the front. Plus, this one's better on the turf. All right, well, today's Christmas. As you can see, I've got my festive Christmas shirt on. It's 75 degrees, beautiful. I want to get this other door in at least, mostly done, even though it's Christmas. It also falls on Thursday, so this is 335 weeks of David's passing as well, so I'll be doing my normal routine of blowing the horn in the trucks and having a beer with him at 2:23. But I wanted to show, I got one door in already, so I figured this is the best way so you can see what it looks like. So this is a Haas 664 model carriage house door. It's insulated, it's a 10x10, and it's got the, you know, this is steel, but it looks like wood, so there's no maintenance. And these are magnetic, which I'll show when they go on, but these are magnetic, which is nice, so you don't have to drill any holes, and you can replace them down the road if you need to, or if you don't like where you put them, or if you want more, one in each, whatever. And this has a, as I might have mentioned already, it has a 4-foot high lift, so this goes up to within 1 foot of the ceiling. So this way the door, as you can see, the stop is already in, the door only goes to there. So it really, when the door is up, you can still have the lights on here at night and still light up most of the room. So I think that's a good option. Everybody said, oh, put a lift in here, put a lift, which I could, but I already have a lift in the shop, which the ceiling is just as high. This is 15 feet in here. The only reason it's 15 feet was really so that it would match up with the rest of the house. I didn't want this drop down. I didn't really need 15 feet, but it's nice having 10-foot tall doors because this way I can fit a truck in here, even if it's got something on top of it or whatever. But anyway, so this is also wind loaded. This is wind load for up to 150 miles an hour, I believe. I don't believe code made me do this. I just wanted to do it. Just makes the door stronger anyway. So it's got a strut on each panel, and it's a big strut. So yeah, that required, and I'll show when I get to it, but it was supposed to have 13 and a half rotations on the torsion springs, but I had to do 15, and it worked out perfectly with 15. So but we'll get to that. I just wanted to show, one in so you could see what I'm doing, and I'll go over all the things, the lock, I got the opener, side opener on it. But so I got a little bit ahead of the game here. I got them out of it out of its box. I've got it prepped, ready to go. I've got this is all the hardware, which I just wanted to show. I'll open this door and get some more light up in here in a minute. But so this is how it comes, and I'll show you what I do. You want to get all the hinges, get everything all ready to go before you install, and it makes it a lot easier. So, but that's how they come. That's the top section with the glass, and then that's how they come. They package them up nicely. So, all right, let me get this set up, and we'll get a move on. Oh, and I'm showing you how I do this by myself, but I have help today because it's Christmas, so David's going to give me a hand. All right, so this is what I do. I lay everything out, and before I get started too, I'd like to thank my brother-in-law Danny, who he gave me. We were texting back and forth because I used to install doors. He's been a door installer for 40-something years. He's had his own business. That's what he's done. So I had a couple of questions because this was a little different. I never did a high lift, and there was a couple of things that I confirmed with him, asked him, and he was a big help. So Dan, thanks very much for that. But this is what I do. I lay everything out. So these are all the hinges, and they are numbered. So they start off from the bottom. Well, you've got the bottom. So these are the bottoms, left side, right side. They come with their own self tappers. They're red, and that was a question I had. Why are they red? It's so that people know not to remove those because they're under tension when the spring is pulled on them. But I'm pretty sure if somebody doesn't know that, they're probably not smart enough to understand that they're red for that reason, so it probably wouldn't help them. But that's those go together. Otherwise, these are the normal. Here is the normal size of self-tappers that holds all the hardware to the door. So they start off at 1. So the first row obviously is 1, but all the center hinges are number 1, regardless of, the second row is number 2, number 3, and number 4. And the difference is, if you can see, the offset of where the roller is. So what that does is it pulls the door away from the frame or the stop. Oh, Miss Wonderful coming. Come on. I'm going to be finished in 1 second. Just hold on a minute. So that's what they do from there. And this is the top. So I just get everything together. All the hardware. Because this door is bigger, instead of using the normal 2-inch lag bolts, again, that was from Danny. He said you should use something bigger. So I've got 3 5/8 lags to go there. And I take everything out, put them in magnetic trays so everything works. These are same thing on the tracks. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically it's the same thing. As it goes up, it brings that out. And this is roughly the tools you're going to need. And this is the number 1 tool you need. So if you don't have this, don't even try it. I'm kind of joking, but without the lift, I'm not sure that I could do this 10-foot door by myself. But clearly I can. So, all right, let's get started so Miss Wonderful can come back over and watch me. All right, so here's the track prep, getting the brackets on. So all the from the bottom up to the last one gets a carriage bolt like that, with a lock nut. And where the tracks connect, they get track bolts, which I don't want to take them out of the package. These are for the high lift section, but they've got a screw head, and they have, it's not a carriage, it locks in because these are both round, so that gets it into place. So that's how those go. And again, they start off, don't know why they start off with number 3. That one says number 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the top one says 9. But you can tell they just get from smaller to larger, so that's how they go. So you get those prepped, and that's ready to go, and now it's time to get the bottom ready. Oh, and I didn't mention, I leave these loose because, they're tight, but they're not tight. I mean, they're finger tight, so you can move them. Because these, you're going to move this so you can get the door properly aligned when it's, when it's all in there. You want to get it to where it's pretty much straight, but it's not touching. So I leave them loose, and then just tighten them up afterwards, just as a final thing. But it's much easier to get it into position if you leave them loose. Like I said, finger tight, not loose, but not tight, or inch tight. All right, so here's the layout. So they give you a strut layout, which I'll put up on the screen afterwards. I'll take a screenshot of it or whatever, because I don't even know where it is. But so it calls for, this one is in the middle of the door on the bottom, and this way it's good I can show you those. And then basically all the other ones are at the top. So nice thing with this door, it's insulated, but it's got a steel skin on the inside, so it's got ribbed panels. So you just basically center it on a rib for that, and right there. So that this layout makes it easy. And on the bottom one, you basically it's going right at the bottom of the door. like that. So it's not at the bottom of the rubber, but it's at the bottom of the door. And it's just a matter of, that's it. So this one gets 3, and these get 2. So that will go like that. So that, this one's adjustable, but they really don't move. So it's at the top of the hole, and that will go in, and that is with the smaller ones, which I'll show on the other side because that's where I left the cup. So for these, it's like that. And this is a magnetic tip, so without a magnetic tip, you're going to have a hard time doing it. That right in there. And that's it. Hi, Flu. You found the new house. You can't go in yet, though. All right, bottom panel's ready to go. Let's bring it over. This weighs 400 pounds, but I'm so strong that I can carry it. That's a joke. And let's see. So the person that framed it actually did a good job. So now, before I nail this in, well, I'll show you. But you want to make sure this one is level. And if you look at that, you'll see, and I'll show you why that's the case. It's not as bad as that opening was, but this one needs to come up that side, and I'll show you why. But I've got to grind a little bit down on that side. So let's move the door out of the way, and I'll show you why. When they put the slope, when they did the concrete, they didn't put the slope all the way. They stopped it here. And this was not even here, so that's not the reason why they did it. I had it laid out for them too. But I've got to grind this part out so that it goes down. See if that was enough. Yep, that's good. All right, so this is where you just take a 16 penny nail, bang it in just a little bit, and bend it over. Normally on a normal size door, I would put all these in and put this track on at the end, just to slip it over. But because I'm chicken, because it's a 10-foot door, I'm only going to do the first 2 panels and then install this and put the hinges on afterwards, just because I'm chicken, because I don't want a 10-foot door. And this door was about $5,000 each to crash down and probably kill me in the process. All right, now the second panel. All the rest of the panels now are the same, except for the top, obviously. And what you want to do, this one's not so bad, but you always want to make sure, run your finger in the joint here and make sure there's no insulation. The last door, almost every section had clump after clump, and if that's in there, they won't sit flat on each other and it won't look right on the outside. So again, this first one is a 2. The 1 goes in the center and the other 2 at that end, and then this is going to go right below those, like that. Well, not crooked but straight, but right below the hinge. All right, second panel. There we are. Make sure that side is lined up. And it is. We'll put our nail in this one. These are hard to pull out because these studs are yellow pine and they're very hard to pull the nails out, so I try not to put them in too hard if I don't have to. And same thing here. Just make sure that's lined up. There's no dimples on this one except the ribs. So I always do that one first because then it's pretty much guaranteed. And that in the center in that one. This is where I'll put the track on now. I'll show that in a minute. All right, so here's where you want to put your cable on. You want to get that on there. Of course, the bottom is in. I pushed it in too far. Like that. So this way you're going to put those behind each roller. And you put a roller here, like that. Let's grab the rollers. I didn't open the pack yet because of the height. There were, I guess their standard pack is for 8-foot doors. Oh, you got to be on that side of it. Like that. Do the same on the other side. And these have keepers. So this way, if the track was too wide or whatever, if you did put it up, you didn't space it properly when you installed it as you opened the door for the first time, and it got too wide, the rollers could pull out and the door would fall on you. So they give these, all you have to do is put them at the end like that. So I put those on now, it's easier. All right, so next is the track. And if you know that the floor is level, you can sit this right down on the concrete. In the north, because we're in the south, we don't really get freezing. If you were in the north or anywhere where you get freezing spells and you could have concrete go up and down, you'd want to lift this up about a half an inch, put a space underneath it. But here we don't get freezing. So as long as you know that the floor is level, then you can just put it down. Obviously, if it's not level, then you'd want to put this level. So if this side was high, you would want to, either cut the track a hair or lift that side up so that it was level. But I know the floor here is level, so I just sit it right down on the floor. All right, so for the setting of the track, you can turn the track around on these rollers. And again, you got to make sure that those are loose, otherwise you can't get close enough. I had them 2 finger tight. Make sure your cable doesn't get stuck. 3 finger tight them. But you don't want too much space, but you want about a 1/2 inch, because you want that bottom to be clear, because you're going to need enough room. You'll see when we do the opener, there's a cable keeper, but you need enough room that slides up and down. The cable keeper will go in there and have enough room for it. So you get it approximately where you want it. Get the bottom one done. Now, if you're going to do this on sheetrock, if this garage was going to be sheetrocked, which this one is not, you would have to put a 2x6 here. Build this out. They call it padding, but you'd have to build this up with a 2x6 because you would not want to put this on sheetrock. Even though most people do, I wouldn't. I am not sheetrocking this garage. I don't care for a sheetrock garage, so this is going to go right where it is. And I recommend pre-drilling. So 3/16, put it in the middle. This way you can move it in either direction. And I know that I'm not going to make this come closer to the door. So if anything, I'm going to move the hole a little bit more to the right or the left, being on that side, so that if I need to move this track farther over, that it will slide. But I know I'm never going to make it tighter than that. So I'm going to put it right there. And these are just regular 2-inch lags that they give you. And then from there, just take a 2-foot level and plumb up the track. And see, that's perfect right there, because I have a very good eye after doing this for 40-something years. That's not tooting my own horn, it's just true. So that one will go in, and the next one, and you can adjust it as need be, but once these are plumbed, really, on this door, I didn't have to move it at all. So, and the other pro tip, what I do, anyway, is I use a pen, because I find it works much better than a pencil does, and mark that, because sometimes when you crank this down, you can, as it rotates, this tightens up. You can move, it'll tend to want to move this. So if you mark it after you've plumbed it, then you know that it's where it's supposed to be. But if it moves and you didn't see it, then you could be off, and then at the end you're going to say, oh, now I have to adjust it. So that's part of why I don't have to ever adjust them. So there we go. All right, next one, and this is the last one that I have open, and I only have about a half an hour left before 2:23, so I probably won't get the other one up until after, but let's get it. Same thing. So this will be number 3, 1, 3, strut. And that side I will leave off. This side I will put the roller in, and I'll show you how I get it set. But this one is a little bit more difficult, but not really. All right, so on the left side, just because it's easier for me, I mean, you could do either way, I put one roller. This hinge is loose because I'm going to take it off. And then I get it into position, and it can't fall out because that one roller's in. So this is the only one that's a little bit harder to do, just because the height that it's at, and you have to wiggle it in there. So now the roller's in. Get that in a position, and there you go. It's got to come over this way so it's flush, and there's not really enough. I probably could twist that in, but it's not worth it. But as you can see, that one holds it in. So you want to get this lined up. That's lined up. double check. So far, this Haas door company is a premium door company, so they're usually pretty good. But I've had a couple where in the past where one door wasn't the same size. It was a little bit longer. So you had to kind of put it into the middle to make sure that everything lined up. But usually on the cheaper ones, there wasn't as much to worry about anyway, because there was nothing really to line up on. All right, so I just repeat the process. Take this one out, put the roller in, and that one's good to go. So those are all in. What you want to do now, like cut this nonsense out of here so that we don't have this in the way, is I'm going to level this one up now again. So this one will be fastened, that side will be fastened, and then it's number 4. And you'll get to see how, because you can see there's no way I could reach that one. So you can either go up a ladder and do it, but the lift works well for that as well. So that's why I said you kind of need to have the lift. And then after you do this one, make sure that what I do now, so I don't forget and it's not in the way, is I just bring this one up and kind of tuck it in behind the door like that. So when I put this one in, I don't have to feed it up. There goes Miss Wonderful and Floof. She's going to get yep, she heard me. She's going to get we're having prime rib. So she's going to make that. And it is now 1:41. So I've got about 20 more minutes to get the 4th panel in. I'll probably get that one in and then have to do the last one later on. See, here's what I was talking about earlier on panel number 4. See how we've got some extruded insulation sticking out into that channel. So that's why you always want to check them. All right, I should have showed this. I forgot. I'm just trying to get it done and also make a video, but that's, I take that off and put the roller in, and now it's good to go. And then I make sure I move this so it's not stuck like it is now behind the door, pushing on it on the edge of the wood. There we go. So that side obviously was in. So I got almost the number 4 ready to go. I just got to put the strut, and I'll show you getting it in place. Another pro tip with this brace: make sure you leave yourself enough room to get the bit in here when you're going to remove this. So I leave the ones I'm going to remove, just and 3/16 of an inch lower than I normally would. And I guess in the future, if you ever had to change hinges or anything, it's not a bad idea, or a roller. But anyway, that's why I do that. So I just figured I would give that out. All right, I'm going to do something that I haven't tried before. And again, I'm going to put this clip on here just so my roller doesn't pop out on me. I didn't do it on the other one, but I'm going to do that here. I want to try this. When I did this door, I did it off the lift, and I'm not going to do it for the top one, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try it doing it without a lift. So if somebody doesn't have a lift, which I would recommend against doing this, because you'll see when we do the springs and all that. But I'm going to try it. And if I've learned anything in my almost 62 years, what I've learned is that I'm not 50 anymore. So if I did this when I was even 55, I would probably laugh at having to need a lift to do this. But that's the hard part right there, because there we go. Got it. Got it. Other than that, almost falling off my lift. I mean, off my platform. But that's good. So I still got it. But so it is possible to do that. I wouldn't recommend it. The lift is much easier, but just to show that you could do it, I do need to move that in, as you can see, because I plumbed that, but that one needs to be pushed in, but it can't fall out, and I'm good to go. So I'll get that one in place. It is now 1:54, so I only have about 10 minutes. I'll get that one secure, and we'll get the top one when I get back, or tomorrow, depending on what size. I did buy a crowler, which is 32 ounces for David and I to have, which will be very soon. So it could be tomorrow when I finish this. Forgot to show the best part. David gets to sit in his truck again, and then we'll go outside. Now I go sit on the bench. All right, I've got 10 seconds, but this is what I do. I sit. I got David here. We got our beers, and this is the 7th Christmas. All right, I gotta sign off. And Misty always comes to sit with me, right, Misty? Come here. Yeah, you know. She always knows. Yeah. Yeah. Merry Christmas. We'll go sit on the bench now. Misty is still here. Oh, she heard her name. And so is Flu.
Here's the Merry Christmas from the Scots.
Well, avoid people, I agree. Enjoy the view, yep. More, well, I would say bourbon, not whiskey, and keep avoiding people. I agree, totally. Totally agree. 100%. Here comes Onyx. I don't know if you can see him on the camera because I can't zoom it. He's one of our boys that... Come on, Onyx! Come get your foodies! Come on! He'll disappear for days at a time, but I told David to bring him back for Christmas, and here he is. It's been like 3 days he hasn't been here. Come on, Onyx! That's a good boy. Come on, Onyx! Onyx!
Come on, Onyx. Come on, baby.
Come on!
Go get your foodies.
Come on, Onyx. Come on, Onyx. It's okay. Yeah, come on. You're okay. I don't know if you heard him talk, but he'll talk back. Come on, Onyx. That's a boy. Come on, Onyx. It's okay. Come on, Onyx. Yeah, come eat your foodies. Come on. He's a big boy. Come on. It's on the porch. It's okay, Onyx. He's got to roll. I'll go on the porch and get him to go. Yes, come on. Here he comes. Come on. That's my boy. Come on. Come on, Onyx. That's my boy. Come on, Onyx. Thank you, David. Come on, Onyx. There you are. Come on. Yes, come on. Come here. Come here. Look. Foodies. Yes, come on. Come on. Come here. Come on. That's my boy. That's my boy. Come on. That's my boy. Yes, come on. Here, eat your foodies. Come on. There you go. Come on. Come on. He'll eat 3 of those bowls. That's a good boy. Yes, come on, Onyx. Yeah, where you been, huh? Where you been? Where you been? That's a good boy. We usually give him like a Sheba. Like a can of that, just as a treat. But I don't want to scare him away right now, so I'll give it to him after. Right? There you go, buddy. There you go. He's probably close to 5 years old now. And he has a brother Opal and a brother Junior. We haven't seen Junior in a while. But Junior has a daughter, that's JJ. That's the girl that you've probably seen before on video. But he's one of the brothers. Onyx, Opal, and Junior. But he hasn't been here for 3 days. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Alright, I'll let him eat. Alright, this is the next day. I did not come back out after sitting on the bench. We had our dinner and everything after as well. I just didn't feel like doing it. I almost wish I did, because today it's a little cooler. It's right now it's only about 56 degrees, going up to about 65, but yesterday was 76. But anyway, so I'm back out. What I'm going to do now is I am going to, as you can see, this needs to get pulled out so that I get the proper door spacing all the way up and tighten these bolts. So I'm going to do that, and I will do that just by claw the hammer, just pull it out, eye it up. I am going to take out my 4 nails that initially held in the door. You got to be careful with those. You know, you don't want to damage the door, so you don't want to pry off the door when you pull those out. And then we're going to get the top panel in. I'll show you how I do that. I will be using the lift for that. Again, could carry it up the ladder, but it's easier with the lift. And you definitely need, well, you don't need it, but you really need to have the lift. I have a lift in order to do the spring and the track and all that by yourself. And it makes it much easier and, more importantly, safer. And for a pro tip on how to get nails out, not just when it's like this, but a lot of people don't know this trick, but if you take the claw of your hammer and turn it sideways like that, you will actually pull the nail out very easily without putting strain on anything. Alright, so here's the 4-foot high lift. So what this does is this bolt continues that vertical track, and it starts to bring the door out, as you can see it right there. That's why I also wanted to have a door done so you could see it. And it's much easier. I mean, you could put it up, if you had multiple people, you could put that all together and put it up in one piece. But doing it by yourself up there, it's easier, I find, just to do it this way. So I'm just going to get that top panel in. I'll show you. It kind of just sits in there, and then I will put in the high lift. But I like to get that panel in and just hold it on in the middle. You'll see. All right, this is the layout for the top panel. So obviously this one doesn't get any hinges. This gets the top roller connector, and you know it's got a pre-punched dimpled hole. So use the middle one there, and this is adjustable. So you'll see this has to be moved in or out to get the proper spacing, and this wind brace goes right at the top. So that strut is right at the top, and so this one's one of the easier ones. It's got glass, but it's not super heavy, just a little bit heavier than the other. And again, check for this one did not have any spillage going into the groove, so that's good to go. So, and then what I'm going to do, because I have the lift, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to stand it up. I'm going to stand it up right here. I'm going to get in the lift. This slides, this is adjustable, so this is what, 8 feet or 9 feet, I guess, when it's closed, and this can extend all the way out to 15 feet. So you get a big platform, but I will just slide this out after I lift it up, and then I can get right close to the door, because obviously you don't want to drive close to the door because you can't really. Anyway, so it's much easier to adjust it by sliding that in and out, and then I'll pick it up, drop it in, and there will not be place for the roller because I don't have the high lift in yet. So what I do is I just hold it in the middle until I can get the high lift in there and get the roller in. But I'll show you. Let's get it in instead of talking about it. All right, so this one, just pick up, and I carefully put it here. Lean it back against the strut, then and the edges are fine. And get up here. And I'm going to put this across just to protect the door. I'm just going to lay it up here for a second. Just like that. And I lost my other one, but that's all right. And then this part, just slide that out like that. And then this one can drop down in. Now again, there's no roller on this one, because the track isn't there. Like so. Get it approximate. I'm going to move over and I'll get it afterwards. But what I do is I take a screwdriver and just pound it in there like that. So this way, if it does get windy or whatever, that can't go anywhere. So now I'm going to move over. I'll get it in where it's got to go, and I will put in the high lift. Once I get one roller in, then we're pretty secure. Can't do the middle one yet because I don't know. I'm not in line, so I can't do that one yet. Right here, that one is cracked, so we'll get it in there tight. So this is actually 14, should be 14 and a half, but it is what it is. So I'll make that a little bit tight, so I pound it in there. start that side in first so that and again you want it to be flush as much as you can, because lumber, this piece is actually not too bad, but sometimes in a 2x12 you can get some cupping. All right, so we're gonna cheat and use a nail gun. And okie dokie, that's that. One less thing to do after. Alright, so here's where you got to play with it a little bit. So here's the high lift. So this has to come out. This has to come out, or this has to go in. And you can look at it to see. Now this one will hit the back. So this one here, I'll loosen this and move this in a little bit to line up. And it's the same thing. It just goes up plumb like that, and then the track, you can see right there, will go from there. So that's all there is to that. It's really not too much, just getting it adjusted at first so that it has to sit flat. See, it's about a 3/16 of an inch off, so that just has to move just a hair. All right, so again, I try to get everything close to where it's got to be so I don't have to reach, especially sometimes when you're holding something and you don't have anybody to get it for you. If you need it, you don't want to have to take it apart. So again, these are the track bolts, which have the slot head on them. So the hardest part with this is just getting it started, because you're trying to keep a 4-foot piece from falling on your head, and you're basically just using thumb pressure to hold everything together. Once you get that one, it's a lot easier. And definitely when you get the two, then it's definitely a lot easier. And I probably would use my head up against it, but I probably just knocked the camera out of whack. I definitely knocked my glasses out of whack, so I can't see. All right, so that's on there now. So again, I'll plumb that. We'll get that aligned. As you can see now, you can feel it. You don't want to bump there, because that's where the rollers are gonna run. So that's about it right there. I'll tighten these up. I keep the wrench in the pocket. I should have I have a small impact, like a right angle one, but that would make too much sense for me to get that. I find it's easier just to have the wrench. It's a little quicker, but you have so many different things you have to pick up. At least, this you can keep in your pocket. I have a tool vest on, if you didn't see it. I've always used one of these. Well, not always, but for probably 30 years I've used them. This one's almost worn out. This was brand new when I started the house, and I've just about worn it out. Alright, so you want to get that nice and tight there, and now I'm going to plumb this up, drill it, do the same thing like what I did over there, so you get the idea. I'll show you when we get up for the track. Oh, and I forgot to show this. Need to get this roller in, so something's holding this door in place while I'm here. I almost was going to put it together without turning on the camera. So what I do is I just take that out. I keep my finger on the nut, get it in the track, get the nut on it, and I can always adjust this later, but this is where the spacing on the door, so you can adjust this in or out as need be, and it looks like it's pretty good right there. And this is a 1/2 inch, whereas all the other ones are 7/16. So I like to have this combination wrench. I don't know where my camera's showing, but it's a combination, so I don't have to have 2 different wrenches. And just make sure to get your cable back, because I looped it over the door, but then it's way outside and you don't want to leave it out there. So now this can't fall out. So now we can take out the screwdriver, and now we're good to go. And like I said, I'll adjust this later. I'll look at it and see. I think it'll probably be all right there, but we'll see. Pre-punched angle. Grinder with a cutting wheel. Easy peasy. And I know from the other one that it's 12 inches is what the vertical is, and 14 on the diagonal. So I'm going to pre-cut them. And obviously, you know, you don't cut it on a hole. Cut it in between. But can't hurt to say it. Okay. Alright, so here's the cross piece. Like I said, this could have just been a 3-footer and come right over to here if I was thinking. But I'm going to take that one out. I've already marked where it goes over here. Now it's going to be offset by the thickness, because instead of it being in line, obviously it's going to be off by, you know, what is that, 1/8 of an inch, not even. So I just marked it anyway, so I know roughly where that goes, just to keep this in a straight line. But again, I would have liked to have changed it. I just don't feel like, or it's not worth taking it off. So doors closed, no weights on this. I'm still going to hold it up, but we'll get this one. I'll get this one in. You can see there's no weight on it. You see I've undone it, and this is a 3 5/8 timber lag. So we just get that lined up. Make sure that's where the one it needs to be in, which is the end, which is fine. Get it in there. And there's our line. So I'm gonna move it. Instead of it being right on the line, I'm just gonna pull it forward just a hair. Pre-drill that, and that one will be good to go. All right, I'm gonna show doing it with the strap on a level or a 2x4. There goes my wrench, because I bent over a second ago. Just to show, but I get everything ready. So that needs to come down a hair, as you can see. But I can get it started. And again, you make sure the bolt head goes inside the track, not the nut. Otherwise, you won't be able to. The roller won't be able to pass freely in there. Okay, we got one, so that'll at least hold it. 2. I've got a bracket I'll show you in the middle. I mean, that goes up there, which I've got to get. But because this is up too high, there we go. I don't have the bolt with me to be able to show you. So what I'll do is I'm going to take my all, I'm going to give it my all. And we'll just put that right there until I get the bolt. Again, I should have had everything all ready to go, but I didn't. All right. So I got the bolt in there. Next is going to come the torsion bar bracket, which will go on there like that, and that will hold everything. And you want to make sure, I put this wrong the first time when I did that. I put this on the inside. This has to go on the outside because the drum goes right here, so you don't want the drum to catch on anything. So it goes like that, keeps it in line, so all that's in line. So that's how that's going to go. I'm just going to tighten all these up here, and like I said, I already knew this was 12 inches, so I will get this in. And of course, I forgot to bring up the hanging bolts. I have them down on the table, and I forgot to bring them up. So I got to do that, and then I'll repeat the process on the other side, and then we'll get the torsion. Like I said, that's what the block went in for. I'll show that after. All right, so last step before we can get the springs on is the center bracket for the torsion tube. And I got the center line, so I'm going to put it this, oh, obviously it goes this way. The larger part goes on the top so the door can clear it. But you want to center it, but the tube is sagged just a hair. So I like to just lift it up a hair. You know, it's going to sag down, and get it in the center like that. And then mark them. And this one gets 3. So I'm going to get the 2 in, and then I'll put one there. And again, going to pre-drill it. Hey, what do you know? There's no nail in the way. I'm surprised. Let's get that one in first. And again, these are the red ones. These are the danger ones. Do not remove unless you want to die. Oh, that's the wrong one. There, where is it? Oh, I was putting in the, these are the truss screws, so I've been putting them in. And again, these are adjustable, so you can move them up or down until you put the third one in. So that's about right. And that's in the center. All right, pre-drilled the last one. And then it will be ready. All right, I'll show you as I'll set it all up. There's a drum. You've got a, and I'll talk about it. So the left hand spring goes on the right side, and I don't know why they do that. They should just call it left hand, right hand, and that's where it goes, but it's the way it's wound. But it's still, I think that's a bad thing. I think it should be left hand is left hand and right hand is right hand. But it's opposite except for the drums. The drums are right hand is right hand, and basically they spray red on everything. So the left side is red. You'll see it on the springs and on the drums. So again, I think that's kind of dumb, but that's what they do. Yeah. Where's Anatoly when you need him?
Helicopter! This is my favorite.
The problem is I can't see that. There we go. Come on. Come on. Not so bad. So you want it's about 3.5 inches on either side, and it doesn't really matter as long as it's roughly. I had wanted to put the both operators together, but there's not enough room. You couldn't get it off without sliding the tube into it, so I'm just going to put it on that side. So that looks about even. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bolt these together because I'm here, but normally what I would do is I would get that drum tight up again. I'd get the drums tight so that the shaft can't move, but I'll just keep an eye on it and I'll get those in, and I'll show you after I do that. So I marked the center, so this way I know that if I slide it around, then it won't matter. So this is the bearing that goes in the center, and that is going to go, that goes on that angle like that, and this one will slide over to it. You see I slid that a little bit, so right there. Get this one over so we don't slide it. And one will go in there. And of course, I don't believe I have the wrenches up here. Maybe I do, but they're not in my, oh yes they are. Never mind. They're in my pouch. They just fell down. All right. Okay. That's the worst part of that. All right. Let me tighten these up and get over there, get the drums on each side, then it'll be ready to, and we're gonna start on the left side actually. All right, so you get down and you get the cable and make sure it's not stuck on anything. And even after you do this, now I've got to loosen this because I tightened them because I did not want them sliding around. If I tipped it, this whole thing could have slid one way and that would have been bad. So now I can spin this again. So we put it in, and obviously it pulls straight up along the wall. So you spin it towards yourself and you've got ridges. And these are these new drums. They've got better cable holding capability than they used to, as far as I could tell. So you put some pressure on it, and of course it works out where the set screws. These are 3/8 because they're square, so it's a 3/8. You need a regular open end wrench. You can't use a, well, I guess you could use a 12-point on it, but it's easier just to use a open end. Well, nothing's easy, but easier because it's at the back. And you don't want to crush the tube, but you want it to indentate the tube because this is what holds everything. So you can't have this, you can't have these slip. I'm surprised they don't put 3. but I get 2 has worked for years, so I guess there's no reason to put 3. But they put 3 on the opener, so go figure. All right, that should be good. Now, I forgot to show you, but I've got a vice grip holding the door down right there, so you want that. And then we're going to spray this down with WD-40, so you want to oil it with something. It doesn't have to be WD-40, but we'll spray this down, and then I'll show you the cranking. So I'll probably put the other one on just so you could see it, so I don't have this thing on my head. All right, so once you have that tight, you got to take a pair of vice grips and keep tension on this and put this against, right on the tube, and you want this to be tight. Not enough to crush the tube, but you want it to be tight like that, because this cannot turn. If you don't do that, you'll just be turning the drum. So again, we're going to do 15 turns, and I'm starting, there's a red mark right here. So that's going to be my 0 point right there. So I'm going to start, and make sure that you're not under where these bars are, because if it slips or something goes, you don't want to get whacked with it. And I always make sure, in the beginning it's not very hard. So there's 1 turn. But I really take note as to I'm setting these all the way in. All right, I'm going to count now, so I won't talk. Put that out of the way now, because this will be 15. Now we gotta tighten it. That's always the fun part when you're trying to tighten it, because you gotta hold this up, and you want to crank these down pretty good. I'm going to move over to the other side, do the same thing, and then we'll try it out. Got to come back and take this off after. All right, let's see what happens. One less check of the hardware. That's on, that's on, that's on. That's on. I see one that is not tightened, so I'm going to fix that. See, that's why you always do that. All right, let's take this off and keep rope in hand just in case. Oh, that's inside, it's not going anywhere. I gotta put the stop in there though, up top, because it's gonna go past where it wants to go. So that's pretty good. I'm going to put those in there. I could probably have gone, I probably could have done this one. I probably could have gone a half turn less, because I've got a little bit of pressure, upward pressure. So I'm going to get my stops in, and then I'll fix it. But at least it won't go past now. All right, let's get the stops on. I'll show you that. All right, I forgot to turn the camera on, but that's how it goes. That's pretty easy. You can use an existing hole, and then I just make my own with the self-tapper. It's just a bumper. All right, here we are from the inside. So that's how far up it comes. I'm gonna have a light there, and I'll probably put one horizontally, or maybe I'll put two this way just to get a little more light that way. But nice and symmetrical. And let's go look at the outside. All right, I'm going to show you the outside, so I might as well end the video here. So all three are in. The only thing that's not on is the doorstop. I ordered it. I ordered everything, give me everything, and of course, you know, they wanted to install these for like 8,000 bucks. And I said, no, just give me everything I need to install them. And they did not give me the stop, so I've got to get the stop, but no big deal. Those, again, these are magnetic. I think these are roughly where they're going to go, but what's nice about these, as you can see, they're just magnetic. So, but I like the look. I like the no finish, you know, no maintenance. They look like wood. Kind of look like our front door. I'll show you the front door. I think it's open, unfortunately, so it'll mess up my filming. I finally got the house closed up now, so I can lock. I always lock the door, but the garage has been open. But now I can lock this. So hold on. So let's get the. Again, the lighting's not great the way the sun is shining, but same color. Those are fiberglass with gel stain. These are steel with whatever they do to it, but they're nice. So, all right. Well, I hope that helps anybody who might want to do a door by themselves. You know, I like to teach. You know, there's a lot of videos out there, but not a lot that show somebody how to do something by themselves. I like to do that. So hopefully that helps. And I'm going to do a separate video on the openers. And I'd like to again thank my brother-in-law Danny for the help and text that he gave me. And I'm going to put a little bonus video again at the end. I know I put one in about what I do on Thursdays, but I'd like to thank Ryan from Victory Outdoor Services. I'm sure you all know his channel, but if you don't, check him out. Amazing channel. He's got almost 800,000 subscribers, and he does a thing where you could send in stickers and he'll put them on his toolbox in his new shop. And I sent him a memorial sticker for David and one of our Southern Homestead transformation stickers, and he opened it, put it on the box, and I'm going to put a video clip of him doing that, and that really meant a lot to me. Yeah, I really wanted to get, continue David's name and his memory out there, so I'd like to thank him. So again, I'm going to tag him. If you will follow him, go on there, let him know I did this. I don't know if he'll ever see it. I'd like him to know that at least I appreciate what he did. So I don't know what the next one will be, but we'll figure it out together. And as usual, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, and if you're still there, I better say Happy New Year. Happy and safe 2026, because I doubt I'll get another video up before that time. So again, this was a great year. Thanks for everyone and for everyone who subscribed from Ryan's channel, Victory Outdoor channel, because I got about 150 subscribers just from that. So I appreciate it, and hopefully you'll follow along on the journey. My best thing to tell you is go back and try to watch from the beginning so you can get kind of an idea of what I've done and the reason of why I made this channel. So, but again, welcome. I'd like to have you, and let's try to get 10,000 subscribers. That's my goal. That's my goal. So let's see if we can do it.
I'm gonna go do a couple shout outs real quick. I have a few minutes. It's just, it's 5:41 in the morning. All right, we got a gift card, Jimmy John's. Jimmy John's gift card. There's another. Pretty sure there was another Jimmy John's gift card around here. I'm gonna have to ask Taylor about that. Oh, it's right there. Boom. So we got 2 Jimmy John's gift cards. All right, let's see what we got. Southern Homestead Transformation YouTube channel. A lot of stuff in here. Cards too. Scott. All right, let's read. Scott Civic, avid follower channel and fellow YouTuber, Southern Homestead Transformation. He's a retired builder of 47 years. So they started the channel in 2019 to document all the work they've done and we're going to do in the future on the 45-acre family compound we had bought in 2015. They built a shop, they have a pond. So he also sent me a sticker here. I won't read the whole letter, but his son ended up passing away while at work for the DOT. So this sticker is in memory of his son, and then this here is his YouTube channel. So thank you very much, Scott. I really appreciate it. So we'll throw these up here on the box. How?
I don't know. What would make it? I don't know.
I don't really know, to be honest. When you come back or whatever, unplug it and see if it has something to do with the brakes.
Okay.
You know? I don't think it would. Now you're milking out that little cut, man. What? Going on almost a week, he still needs Band-Aids. Come on.
I need to keep it moist, right? That's what they told me. I'm just trying to follow rules. They're gonna take it out tomorrow. The citrus.
Yeah, because most of the time people schedule doctor's appointments in the middle of the day. Man, that's hard to see, but it's there.